Move, puny human animal. That was Data.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah. Welcome to the science fiction rating system. Today we're talking about Star Trek Nemesis, and with me I have Sam.
Hello.
And Alex.
Hey there.
Oh, I forgot we have to do our second name. Sam Draper and Alex Humphrey, Esquire.
I wanted, before we started, I'd like to tell a story about the first time I saw Sam.
Yeah.
He was leaning against a tree in the holodeck trying to whistle. It's the funniest thing I ever saw. No matter what he did, he just couldn't get the tune right. It's just I just thought I'd say that story. Yeah. Weirdly, that's gone down as well as it goes down in the film, isn't it?
Well, it's better because we should start talking in the background. You should go, I can't remember the song. Just really quietly in the background.
Yeah.
Stupid film. Can you remember what the song was, Chris? I remember what it was.
Yeah, it's Pop Goes the Weasel.
Pop Goes the Weasel, yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. It really doesn't make any sense why he couldn't get the tune right, though, because like a couple of episodes afterwards, they show him being a virtuoso, like violin player.
Yeah.
And he literally says he can recreate any classical player playing any instrument.
Was he just having a bad day that day?
Well, it was the pilot. You can't. I don't think you can. You should really not be harking back to anything in a pilot because they hadn't figured anything out at that point.
If the listener hasn't watched Nemesis, Alex is quoting the best line from the film, basically.
Sorry,
at the very end of it. But,
So this is the 10th Star Trek film in the franchise. The third of the Next Generation, fourth of the Next Generation crew, and the one that killed the franchise for a few years
massively.
But we won't go there yet.
No.
So
what was going on? As you guys know more than me, what TV show wise, what was on air at this point? Trek-wise,
it must have been Enterprise,
it was
right?
Just Enterprise, yeah. They were filming the first season of Enterprise at the same time as making Nemesis. Everything else had gone off the air by this point.
Everything else was off air. Deep Space Nine was off air. Voyager was off air.
Yeah.
Ooh, okay. That's interesting.
But bear in mind, everything art department-wise, costume-wise, character-wise, had all been developed on TV or in previous films. The workload to make this film was at a minimum, really. Yeah. They needed to use that workload saving to really make it a mental film, really. Yeah. That's how I would approach this project.
Yeah.
Let's see how they approached it.
Yeah. Well, they actually made work from the sales job, didn't they? Because they threw out quite a lot of that stuff for this, but we'll get to it. No doubt.
God, I didn't even you're completely right, Chris, that they had an opportunity because they saved so much money.
They literally don't need art department, costume.
Mad.
It's there. The sets are there.
That makes this so. Now makes this so much worse. The potential to just do something else, and this is what they did.
Literally anything else.
Oh my god.
I mean, they had 60 million. It's not like it was a low budget for the time.
No,
I think it was pretty tasty money for that sort of time, wasn't it?
Yeah,
60 million.
Yeah.
What year is this? 2006, is it? 2002. 2002. Yeah.
This was written by John Logan, who got an Oscar for Gladiator. And I think he was working with Brent Spiner and then got a link up to do this. And then I think Brent Spiner's got some sort of creative credit within this project as well.
It's a story from Brent Spiner, isn't it? But
I mean,
and Rick Berman as well.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like some half-assed actor idea.
Yeah. Rick Berman, who since in later years, as actors are more willing to talk about Star Trek, they all basically say that he was just some coke-fueled prat that they all couldn't not stand, and he wasn't a creative force at all. Basically, he was
that's interesting.
Him and Brandon Braga, who was not as creatively bankrupt, but had a lot of terrible ideas about time travel, are kind of credited as the ruination of Star Trek. But Braga's not involved with this. It's just Berman and Spiner.
But Berman's involved with so many of the.
He ruled it. He took over from Roddenberry and after Michael Piller died as well. He was
he's responsible for a lot of that era of Star Trek, really, and how it looked.
Well, he's not Piller. Michael Piller built the actual style of it, like the the construction of it, and then Berman kind of just took it over. I think is
cool.
Yeah.
Yes. So the point is they are a couple of years after the last. Well, I think there's no real relevance in time period.
I think I might have the star date.
2379. It's
start date, please.
Yeah, 2379 is the start date.
So basically, we start off in the Romulan Senate, which I don't think we've seen before.
Actually, can we say one thing before we get that far?
Yeah.
I think the opening font treatment to this is terrible. There's backwards E and the backwards R in the Star Trek.
It looks like a fake. It looks like when you watch like an Alien ripoff or like a
it's really
cheap
bad.
80s film. No, it's so ugly.
Yeah.
No, it's really ugly.
Yeah, I think it was better when they didn't have access to like After Effects and things like that.
I mean, this looks like clip art. It's like wingdings, but cleaned up a little bit.
Well, let's remember that Avatar was basically
Papyrus. Yeah.
They've retro fixed that now.
What do you mean?
It's not Papyrus anymore. It's slightly different. They've remade it in a similar vein.
A trademarkable font. So it's not Papyrus, right?
Yeah.
Cool.
So we see the Romulan Senate.
Ruled by that bloke out of Neighbours.
What bloke out of Neighbours?
The main Romulan guy is the guy that plays Jim Robinson, Alan Dale. Do you know him?
Is it?
Yeah, he's Jim Robinson in Neighbours, but at some point he left Neighbours and he's in so many Hollywood films as this kind of an older statesman. I think he's a president in something.
The one who gets killed?
Yes, the kind of leader of the Romulan.
Yeah. Right, yeah, okay.
Yeah, he's in so much stuff.
So we see the Romulan Senate. The Romulans are always based on like ancient Rome. That's their sort of shtick.
Yeah. They love that, yeah.
And then they're having a little meeting and someone leaves this thing in there. It kills them all, basically. Really poor security in the Romulan Senate by the sounds of it. I mean, considering they're almost always at war with the Federation.
Yeah. And that thing she leaves is big. You'd think someone would be like, "Oh, sorry, can we stop the meeting? Because she's obviously left her handbag, or like she's left her like CD Walkman in here.
She's left her WMD in here. Can we get this back to her, please?"
And also, she's not left for any reason, has she? She literally just goes like, "Oh, excuse me, I'm off."
In a really suspicious manner.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we are. Then we're basically we're back at the Enterprise, and it's basically a wedding scene.
Yeah,
really terrible wedding scene.
What is their obsession? They did this was it Generations? Had the one where they're on the boat doing the promotion for whoever.
Yeah,
they love. I don't like the way the film was feel necessary to make out all this big family because they weren't that in the show, were they? They played poker, but they didn't all go to that. No. Picard didn't go to poker.
No. It was they made a thing at the very last episode. Riker,
he turned up, didn't
Picard
he?
went and played.
Yeah,
but also, what is the thing in these films of starting off Picard being really wacky?
Yeah,
in the beginnings of this one's the worst for it. In the beginning, he's like really wacky and like making jokes and like having a laugh, and then he all gets all gritty and like, I'm all angsty now. But he's really like, he slags off Worf. He makes a really sexist joke about like, hey, Mr. Troy or whatever, whatever is like about. Do
you not think Picard's best man speech as well was very much all about him?
Yeah.
Yeah,
like it's nothing to do with Riker. It was all like, this is my first officer on my ship. We all do this, and
yeah.
That was my wedding. I'd be like, mate, come on.
Yeah.
I'm getting married, not you.
Yeah.
I can't remember if it's in my mind or whether it's actually in the film, but there's a Wesley Crusher cameo.
Yeah,
it's cut. Yeah,
it's cut. Yeah.
No, he's there.
So I've seen it more recently. I couldn't actually remember whether I saw it in the film or in this clip.
It's on the Blu-ray, the deleted scene.
He's sitting there, isn't he? He's sitting there, and I was like, oh, finally, he's in it, and then he's never in it again.
The director Stuart Baird, who famously had never watched an episode of Next Generation. Yeah. And this is the first. There's lots of like things through it that are like sort of reminders of why he didn't really get Trek. And when Wesley Crusher came back, what's his name? Will Wheaton.
Yeah.
He asked the bloke. Oh well, I forgot. He knows a traveller, isn't he? In the series, he's gone off to be like this interdimensional being, and he asks Stuart Baird like, "Oh, am I a traveller or not right now?" And Stuart Baird is like, "I don't know. I don't give a shit. Whatever you feel like, mate. Doesn't matter really."
Brilliant.
He probably thought he meant a gypsy.
Yeah. Do they have them in the future? Okay, cool. Be that if you want to be that.
Well, basically, did you see him in Picard recently? It's like so out of character, it's ridiculous. It pops up. Right, so
I think Deanna Troi looks really nice in that dress. I don't really like their weird uniforms. This is a bad uniform, I think.
Oh, the white dress uniform.
Yeah, I don't like it. It looks silly. It looks
very dated, isn't it?
Yeah. It doesn't look smart either. It just looks
It doesn't look any smarter than the normal uniform.
No. Just a bit different.
And and Betazoid weddings, they're all naked.
Yeah.
Normally there's a little factoid for you.
Yeah. I love that line. When
it would have been good if they would have done it like a Austin Powers scene where everyone was naked. That would be good.
Yeah.
I like that line when he goes then later on, because he says some line about Picard's like, "Oh, a big strapping lad like you, Worf. What's the problem?" But then later on, he's like, "Oh, we're going to the wedding. We're all going to be naked. I'm off to the gym."
Yeah.
And he's like, "What? That's so weird."
It's so weird.
It's so
odd.
Do you feel weird? Like they should have cut to like him, Picard, like in the gym, like gotta get buff.
These films, especially this one, it's so much like they're just like completely forgotten they're in Star Trek, haven't they?
Yeah.
Which
who
now
the characters are.
We've now flipped over into this is where it flips. From them being in character to them being a load of actors larking around.
I think it flipped Insurrection, didn't it?
A little bit in Insurrection.
Not as bad as this, I suppose.
Would you say, as a dedicated Trekkies, did original series flip quicker than Next Generation flipped? Because I think actually Next Generation flipped quicker than old OS did.
I don't think original people ever flipped. I think they were always a naturalistic style.
Ah, okay.
It just got more extreme. I mean, really, like the first Star Trek film, they've already flipped from the series. Really, they're not. They're quite different to how they are in the original series in all of the films.
Yeah, that's true.
And then they flipped again because they hadn't really sussed it on motion picture.
No. And Rotha Khan is quite serious. Yeah. And then it gets more silly,
increasingly
serious,
stupid,
and then it gets more wacky and like
until we're doing a comedy film.
Okay, yeah.
Okay, cool. So that terrible scene, Data serenades the couple.
Bloody Data singing. Why does he have to keep singing? I hate it.
It's the worst gift ever.
Some shitty song.
Yeah, it sucks.
Worf's got it right when he's like Irving Berlin and puts his hands in his hands.
Yeah, I hate it. I hate him singing.
Is Irving Berlin detested in the Klingon Empire? Probably.
Must be.
There was
like a great backstory there. We need to.
Yeah, you know, like when they're in Iraq and they used to like play heavy metal music to psych out the enemy. Perhaps when the Federation first met the Klingons, they like pumped Irving Berlin across the airwaves,
like Born in the USA. Like, some Springsteen. Okay, so they also detect some readings from
a positronic signature.
Positronic signature. Now, I don't know what a positronic signature could be. We know that Data has a positronic mind.
Yeah.
I guess the Enterprise is always scanning for that very particular type of energy.
Maybe.
Well, considering what a danger Data is, the possibility that there's no one out there, you probably would be checking for that all the time, wouldn't you?
And again, we've had all the lore stuff, haven't we, by this point?
Many times, yes.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
So they know that it's not going to go well to find another Data, basically.
Yeah.
I'd like a film where we're not always on about Data.
Oh, would be nice, wouldn't it?
Or a TV show.
And I have to say, I'm sorry, but I think I would like... The two problems with this film are basically Data and Picard. It's just all about them, isn't it? And it doesn't really...
Well, that's a problem. Obviously, Patrick Stewart and Brent Spiner are friends, aren't they?
Yeah.
So they start having this relationship. And it's happening in Insurrection as well, hasn't it? And in First Contact, it's all about Data. But what really annoys me, and I probably said it on the previous films, was that in the TV series, it was always Geordi and Data were best friends, wasn't it? And all the interactions of those two. And in this film, they even, like, when Data goes off, there's a little nod, isn't there?
Yeah.
And it's just such a betrayal of the characters. Like, it shouldn't be Picard. It should be Geordi talking to Data. It really annoys me that they kind of flip that for the films.
They sideline everyone. every other character is just like...
They do, yeah.
Yeah, it's like...
It's weird.
And it's worse. I guess Worf is the worst because he's been kind of screwed over in every film by this point. Hasn't he? Because every film he's not really in any
I feel sorry for Riker.
Yeah.
He gets that
He's second in command, but what does he actually do? Well, he has some great stuff actually later in this film.
Oh, I think he was hoping for his own ship and his own spin-off series.
Why do you think he didn't direct this one? Do we know the reason for that? Is there a...
Was he off? I think he might have been offered it.
Was he doing Thunderbirds at the time?
Oh, actually, no. I tell you, Geordie wanted to direct it, and I think it was supposed to be offered to him, but they took it away from him and gave it to...
That was another thing that they Stuart Baird kept calling... He's called LeVar Burton, isn't he? And he kept calling him Lever or something like that, like something weird. Kept getting his name wrong all throughout the thing. They all hate him. It's really funny, like, there's loads of interviews at, like, cons and stuff where, like, all the cast are like, yeah, Stuart Baird's a dickhead, we hate him. It brilliant.
Feels like a weird person to put in charge.
It's really odd. Because he'd done... US Marshals, and that's his big film he directed.
He did Executive Decision as well.
Yeah, he edited on a lot of stuff, wasn't he? He edited a lot of films.
Yeah, it just seems like an odd pair of hands when you've
very
got
strange.
all these directors that have done the TV show, and even actors.
Do you know about the LCARs, the systems? That he made them throw out all the panels. Because he thought they weren't dark enough for the film. So they've got, as Chris said, they had all those sets of all those brilliant LCARs designed touchpads.
Beautifully designed by, I forgot his name, I follow him on Instagram, he's an old guy.
Is it Okuda?
Yeah, Michael Okuda.
Michael Okuda. And bear in mind, Enterprise E was in the last film with all those cons and stuff there, and he made them strip them all out and put in a new, darker design because it fit the tone of the mood. Like, there's just so many things that you think, how did they let him get away with this?
Yeah, why didn't they just pull him off it? They pulled people off for different reasons
I don't know.
on other films.
I was just giving up, hadn't they?
Yeah. So they go and have a little bit of a joyride on this planet for no particular reason.
More wacky Picard. I'm going to take out the shuttle.
Yeah,
you can't stop me.
Oh, the first time we see a four-wheeled vehicle in Star Trek. No reason why, really. Considering they literally have things that fly.
I've written the whole first 15 minutes feels like a setup for Picard to have a midlife crisis or something. He should start hitting on young crew members and wearing a wig. That's what it feels like, isn't it? He's like, I'm in the Jeep. Oh, I've flown the ship. Oh, I'll do what I want, number one. Like
it's a bit like that.
Yeah.
They go up to the bridge and he's got a bowl on the front of the thing and he's like, chuck your key cards in there, guys.
Yeah,
We're having a party later.
Oh, God. Yeah, he's having a midlife crisis in some ways.
I feel like it is.
Yeah.
And they should have lent into that, to be honest. That would have actually made way more sense, especially with what's going to come.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
I just hate these sort of doublings up of data, though, just bringing out new versions of data. I just don't like it.
Especially this one.
Oh, especially this
no
one.
one's ever mentioned before.
No. Oh, it sucks.
So basically, they find a head. It's a dumbass version of Data.
Yeah.
There's some Muppets on the planet shooting at them as well.
That's pointless, isn't it?
It's basically just to get a bit of an action scene, like the dumbest fucking action scene.
And everything's just really... It just looks like a normal American desert, but everything's a bit more yellow.
Yeah.
It's that quarry they're always in, isn't it? They just put a different filter over it this time.
It just makes no sense at all. It's like they're being chased by some Muppets with some guns.
Yeah.
Why don't they just go, Enterprise, stick a torpedo on him over there, stick one on him over there, and beam us all home?
Or just beam us up,
Fuck these guys. Why are they messing about? I just don't get it.
It's so stupid.
Yeah, just beam us up in the car, literally just take everything and then just stick a torpedo down here.
No, it's awful. No, it's awful.
Yeah. So then when they get back to the ship, old Janeway gets on the blower.
Oh, I don't mind that bit.
Do like to see a bit of Janeway. She's now an admiral.
Yep.
Shouldn't Picard be a bit annoyed that she got promoted ahead of him? Considering she just got the ship lost and then came back.
Yeah, I mean, I assume Picard has been turning down.
He's turned down
upgrades for the last, because he wants to be captain.
I guess so. Yeah.
I read that this was supposed to be Jerry Ryan.
Oh no, she was meant to be at the wedding.
Yeah.
And the quote from her was that, for one, she didn't want to come back I don't know, for some like technical, for like a contractual reason. But also, she's like, I don't understand why 7 of 9 would be at a wedding for people she'd never met. Which is, she's got a better understanding of it than everyone involved with making the film.
Yeah. And also, why would Picard? I mean, you think of anyone who would hate 7 of 9, it'd probably be Picard.
Oh, did you also read that they wanted to have a Gorn at the wedding? You know, the big lizard dude, the original one. And they wanted to have a Gorn, but to make a like modern version of the Gorn would have been so expensive they had to like cut it out. Apparently Stuart Baird promised that to like some convention. He's like, we're going to have a Gorn at the wedding, and then there was no Gorn.
They go wild. Yeah.
Did he think he's like, yeah, guys, we're going to have a Gorn. Everyone, what is a Gorn?
We're going to have a Gorn. Yes, Gorn. We're going to have a Gorn, guys.
Well, he just thought they'd get the suit out, the guy in the suit, and then the producers were like, "We're not doing that."
I hope they did that. They filmed one day with that. It just comes on the set in it. Like,
There's a guy at the wedding in one of the uniforms with a Gorn head.
Yeah, and it's all like the way those prosthetics get all eaten away after time. It's all like manky and mouldy or whatever. Like the eyes like hanging out the side. It looks great. We'll fix it in post.
Yeah, I mean they were trying to obviously get Joe Ryan in there for the sex appeal, but she didn't know anyone. But it would actually explain why she probably turns up in Picard, because they still managed to swing round that she's mates with them all 20 years later.
It's a bit dumb,
for some reason. Okay, so they are told that the Romulans have had a bit of a coup, and there's a new emperor who's a Reman. So up until now, there has never been mentions of Remans or like the moon of Romulus.
I knew this, yeah.
What you knew? What do you mean?
No, even I knew that there's just Romulans. There wasn't these other characters, like, you know.
I mean, you could probably explain it in the sense of like, if a starship has never been to Romulus, and you never actually realise there's like this subculture. I mean, that's kind of interesting in a way. Like they've always kept this like slave race.
It could have been interesting, yes.
It could have been interesting.
Yeah, definitely.
If the person who was their boss wasn't Tom Hardy
with his
the
pillowy
bald head
lips and his pillowy lips.
His reveal is incredible.
Oh man!
Yeah,
because they tease it for about 10 minutes, don't they? The lights come up.
You get there, and it's Ron Perlman.
Oh yeah,
yeah, that's nuts.
So what a waste of one Ron Perlman in this film. By the way,
that's crazy.
He's basically playing a henchman you don't even recognise.
No, that's an insane bit of
They do the same fucking thing with Idris Elba in the fucking one of the latest ones, the last one.
Oh, I didn't see that one.
When Beyond, was he?
Yeah, I'm sure he's in that, isn't he? Or supposed to be.
Can't remember.
Anyway, so I like the bit where they're there and they're just waiting, and then the ship kind of uncloaks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And,
that's quite good.
And Picard's like, she's a predator.
Yeah.
Like that.
The ship's not very nice, is it? The ship's a bit of a mess, I think.
Yeah, it's just all pointy things. It's like...
Yeah.
I read it's supposed to be based on a lionfish.
I can see that.
That's the thing.
You know when the things come out.
Yeah.
I think it was designed by the guy who designs all the stuff now. Like I think he's a good designer. I think he does good work.
I think like a lot of this film, it's too dark, isn't it? You don't really see it properly. It's too in shadow.
Yeah.
So, but it's got lots of weapons, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then we get then you see Ron Perlman.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, that's what a Reman is.
The space goblin.
Yeah, a space goblin with psychic powers, and and then there's the reveal of Tom Hardy.
Yeah.
Which
after his very long monologue about his childhood that is delivered in one of the worst deliveries, isn't it? He's so over the top.
But also when they put the lights up, you're meant to think he looks like Picard, aren't you? Because they cut between the two of the backs and forwards. They look nothing alike.
No.
This is my overriding memory of this film of thinking like, what they think they're doing.
And what makes it worse is this is a film where you have an actor playing two versions of himself. So you've got Data and B4, which are the same actor. So you know that those people, they look like each other. Yeah. But you've got Picard and bloody Shinzon, and they just look nothing like each other. And then later on, he's all like, oh, they broke my nose and they broke my chin. And it's like, oh, no, piss off, you look nothing like him. Like,
there's nothing similar, is there really?
No.
And they've established more than once that Picard isn't bald when he's a young man.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, but then they show a photo of him in college, don't they?
Oh, that's bullshit as well, yeah. Yeah, that's
so
rubbish.
I have actually, last week, I was actually at that fountain where he had the photo taken.
Oh, right.
Oh, wow.
Me and my mate had a photo by that fountain, because it's in Paramount Studios.
Oh, right.
It's supposed to look like it's the, Starfleet Academy or something, but...
Yeah.
So I'll send you that. It's just sending it to me. So
nice.
We'll upload that with the show notes.
Nice.
Supporting materials.
What you should do is you should have a photo of you looking at it and then just put Tom Hardy in the fountain instead. Be like, oh, it look just like me.
Yeah. The famous Bronson Gates at Paramount Studios, which is the mecca for all Star Trek, was made there, and Fraser, and sometimes right next door to each other. So I like going there. And so basically, he gives his little backstory, how there was going to be some sort of espionage, mission for him to come in and.
Yeah, it was like a failed Romulan mission to clone Picard and then replace him at some point. Yeah. And then they changed regime and they're like, well, we're not going to do that, so just put him in a mine.
Yeah,
they didn't need to say that, because they could have just said, they looked at me and I look nothing like you, and so they abandoned the plan.
Yeah,
they realised this is a stupid plan; it was never going to work.
Yeah, he's busted his face up so much he looks like a different person.
Yeah,
these humans don't heal well.
This is a stupid thing, isn't it? The idea of this clone, he keeps saying he can predict what Picard's going to do and stuff like this. Even for Star Trek, this is a particularly stupid idea, isn't it?
What made me more angry about this...
And how were they supposed to swap him out? Sorry.
Yeah, I don't know.
They didn't even say no. What made me more annoyed was you kind of already had this whole evil Picard versus himself with the whole, the Borg Picard. You'd kind of had this whole... do you know what I mean? You'd kind of had this whole thing... And it was done better by Kirk when he meets his son. I think that's handled better when he meets his son and he's a bit fucked up with it and he's a bit like, not very comfortable, and it's like a younger version of himself. Or even Khan. Even the fact that with Kirk and Khan is better than this. Yeah. It's rubbish. It's terrible.
I mean, if you really wanted to give Patrick Stewart some range, you should have made him play a mirror version of himself.
That's what Alex said.
Right? And 100%. Even if you wanted to get a new actor in there, get Tom Hardy in as like a mini-me or something. You
just said that plan to swap him out, right?
Yeah.
Oh,
even if they did swap... I've cut out. Am I here?
Oh, mate, I can hear you.
Oh,
can you hear me, Alex?
I can now, yeah.
The plan to swap him out, even if they did swap him out...
Yeah.
He hasn't got Picard's memories up to the same point, has he? So, when Riker walks in the room and goes, "Oh, what about that? I don't know, poker game last night."
Asked you last.
Yeah. He'd be like, "Well, I don't know." And hang on, you're clearly not Picard.
Yeah.
How long would that ruse last?
Yeah, and we've already established that Crusher has scans which is able to figure out if you've lost an hour of your life. From previous episodes.
No,
because your DNA, ages or some shit they come up with. Like, this is not going to work.
It's just not thought through, is it, at all? No.
So he basically took over the Romulan Empire by first being a miner in a slave miner, and then somehow they built the most powerful, heavily armed warship known.
And not only that,
weapon.
And also Remans can do some sort of weird mind rape.
Yeah.
So why are the Remans oppressed at all? Surely they're the more powerful race, aren't they?
Yeah,
They've got better
just
tech.
Rape anything they see.
Yeah, they just mind fuck them.
Yeah.
So my understanding is probably because the Romulans used to be Vulcans, right?
Yeah.
And then they split off. The Romulans went to this planet and took it over and made it Romulus.
Mm.
So maybe the Remans were there before them. That's why they look so different. They're not related in any way.
Oh, That will.
I still don't see how the Romulans would oppress a race of telepathic.
Well, the Romulans have pretty
killers.
strong mental abilities because they are like Vulcans, aren't they?
Yeah, I suppose.
I could explain that one away, but still, it's like if they're able to make like a super weapon in secret as slaves in a mine, why haven't they taken over before?
No.
Yeah.
And Tom Hardy's costume is ridiculous. He looks like Ming the Merciless or something, doesn't he? It's like so.
It doesn't even match the attire of anyone. Anything.
No, anyone.
Yeah.
No, he looks like an old, like sci-fi, like Flash Gordon type
Italian,
villain,
Italian fashion designer.
Yeah, it's awful. It's absolutely awful.
So they figure out the ship's kicking out some low-level radiation, which is the Thalaron weapon, and they figure out that they killed the whole Senate, and the weapon is banned. Yeah. And
then just
Troy
like,
gets mind raped.
Yeah, I just wrote here, films really feels like it's slowed down.
Yeah.
And then next thing you see is Troy in a nightgown being like, "Oh hey, let's go to bed."
Yeah.
And you see his horrible back. I've written
that sex scene's terrible. Yeah.
Jonathan Frakes refused to shave his back for that love scene.
Refused.
The hair on his back was digitally removed.
Not what?
What?
That's what I've got from IMDb. I don't know why.
What's wrong with the hairy back?
I don't know, but that's what IMDb
He's
says.
a hairy man. He's a big bear.
Spending money on
Riker?
taking hair off his back rather than holding him down, shaving him, and spending the money on something better.
Or just leaving him hairy.
Leave it how it is.
Yeah.
Do you not think that Riker's kiss is one of the weirdest on-screen kisses? He kind of like... He doesn't kiss her, and at the last minute he's like she's got like weird tentacle monster.
Yeah.
It's all
gross.
horrible.
Their whole
so
relationship's weird. It always has been.
And also it's weird that, because Tom Hardy's already obsessed with her, isn't it? Because when he sees Troy, he's like, oh, a human woman. Oh, I like human women.
Yeah,
why though?
Crusher's like, hello.
Again.
Yeah, forgotten again.
And then Troy's like, I'm not even human. I'm a betazoid. Hello, racist.
Yeah.
Why does he mind rape her?
I think that's how that Riemann gets his kicks.
There's not a plot reason, is there?
No.
I did miss something.
I think it sets up the ability for Troy to rape him
To
back
get him back,
later.
yeah. But there's no like... They're just literally doing it for shits and giggles at this point. They're like... Yeah.
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 You know what's bad about this, right? Is when afterwards when like the debrief from Picard and she says like it's a violation and clearly it's meant to be a rape metaphor.
Yeah.
And the first thing Picard says is like, "Can you do it again for me? Are you all right getting raped repeatedly
if
for
you're
me?
all right with it, can you just stay here?
I'd like to weaponise this rape.
I mean, thankful for Picard that like it's Tom Hardy cuts him off, doesn't he? Because that conversation would have ended terribly, I think. If it kept...
Yeah. So. Yeah,
he gets beamed aboard. That's one of my favourite lines.
It's so
when
boring.
Picard gets beamed aboard, and he's like, "Why am I here?" And Tom Hardy's like, "I was lonely." Like he says it in like a really camp, stupid way.
Yeah.
Like,
how can you just beam on board? You can't do that, can you?
no, I didn't think you could do that.
Well, I guess they haven't got their shields up.
Pretty schoolboy error, really, isn't it, for hostile
Yeah.
territory? But never mind.
Yeah. So. Yeah, it's really strange. So basically, Crusher figures out that Shinzon is knackered. He's aging, and his the clone. I guess his clone. It's a faulty clone, shall we say?
Yeah.
And the only way to fix him, classically, is getting some of that Picard blood.
Is it like a full transplant?
Yeah. So basically, just nicking all of his blood?
Yeah. Just all his blood, thanks. Yeah.
Why doesn't he, when the first time they meet, why doesn't he just kidnap him and do that?
Don't know. In fact, it gives them his blood, so it's even more stupid.
And he keeps meeting him and like making out that he wants to be mate to something like that. But if he needs his blood and he's got to kill him, then why go through this whole rigmarole of stringing him along?
None of it makes any sense. He's a terrible villain. The story is just so...
It's so boring, isn't it?
Yeah, it's so
Just
rubbish.
nothing happens.
They have the technology available to literally synthesize the blood, right? He could have just if he beamed him into the ship, just fucking copy the blood.
Yeah. Or just take it all.
Just take it all. Just beam it out of him.
That'd be a good death, wouldn't it? His blood gets beamed out. He just crumples to the ground.
Yeah. I mean, that'd be dark, but more interesting than this.
Then it's just this blood just beams aboard in front of Tom Hardy.
Yeah.
My blood has arrived. I thought the music in this was really terrible.
Oh, I thought the reworking of the theme was really good, but I agree the other music's really bad.
Yeah, I can see my notes here in these bits. It just says terrible music.
Yeah, the new stuff was bad, but I actually thought the treatment Goldsmith's doing to the traditional themes was actually quite
it wasn't
grand and quite good. I thought.
Yeah, it was just the general in what's the word? I want to say instrumental, but I don't mean instrumental. I mean the general. The other word, where it's in the background. What is that word? Incidental.
Incidental music, right?
Yes, that's the music.
If you think about it, we've watched films from Jerry Goldsmith in the early '80s, where even then he'd run out of ideas for alien score, hadn't he? We're now here 30 years later, and he's struggling,
still carving it out. Yeah. So basically, they break out using a little ship.
A Scorpion class attack flyer.
A Scorpion
fucking stupid
class attack flyer.
I didn't think this looked too bad effects wise.
Yeah, this looks like a Star Trek episode. It looks like a Deep Space Nine episode.
Yeah, it did look silly.
And then they break out of the ship. I don't know how they do that.
What Worf transports an entire ship onto Enterprise? Is that possible?
Well, I think it is because there's probably. I think there'd be some pretty industrial transporters on the Enterprise because they commonly do missions go to disasters and where they just transport loads of supplies down or they have to evacuate a whole planet.
Yeah. So you think that's possible?
I think that's possible. Okay, that's good. Why I thought they should have just beamed up the whole car earlier.
Oh yeah.
They've literally established that technology now. Why didn't you beam up the car earlier?
Yeah, oh shit, we could do this. It's because Thingy's not there. It's because O'Brien's not there. Chief O'Brien's not there. That's why they're having problems.
Yeah.
Doing that. This bit of the film, I put Stuart and Spiner go to Laser Quest as my note. It just felt like two mates having fun. And the way with the guns in the corridors, and they're just pew 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 pew. It's so pathetic. And the Remans all just piling up as Picard managed to
No, it looks like he's actually because Picard's all get the door open. I was like, you've basically killed them all. They're all dead left.
Yeah. You've already established this weird choke point of yours, which is 3 really wide open corridors. Against all the odds, is the ultimate way to kill people, and you've got.
With Picard, when he's got a rifle in one hand and the hand going up.
12 dead.
Yeah.
Stupid.
Yeah. And as soon as they figured out this weapon on this ship, they should have just gone on a suicide mission and just took it out. Yeah. They would not if it was really as dangerous as they said it was, they should have just rammed it then.
So the weapon can destroy Earth in one big shot. Is that the idea of this weapon?
It's like a weird weapon, isn't it?
Yeah, but it's not really explained.
It's like a biological weapon mixed with a technological weapon, right?
The thing they take in the Senate, it's that on a big scale, is it?
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
And this is stupid because they then go, but don't worry, because Tom Hardy's not going to go to Earth. He's going to kill me first. And everyone's like,
yeah.
Really? And he's like, yeah, definitely. And if you were Tom Hardy, wouldn't you just be like, or Shinzon, you'd just be like, actually, I'll just destroy Earth first because Picard will still be out there in the ship. It doesn't really matter. Yeah. Why'd you have to do it in that order? Why'd you have to get Picard first?
Yeah.
And Shinzon's destroying Earth because that's the way to get the Romulans to take him seriously. That's what's going on, isn't it?
Well, he's just going to invade Earth, I think, just for shits and...
No, he wants to destroy it, doesn't he? He's not going to invade it.
Yeah, I mean, by destroying Earth.
But his whole thing is that he just wants the Council to, take him seriously on Romulus, doesn't he? Which the stakes are all over the place. I didn't understand why he was...
Yeah.
If he's that fussed about Romulan Council, why not use this on them, and then just take over Romulus?
I think it's essentially a Death Star, what we're dealing with here.
Yeah, it is a Death Star, isn't it?
So I like the bit where they near escape and they get on the Enterprise and then they're racing back, right? And then the battle here, I think, is passable.
It's okay.
It's a good battle.
It's okay. Yeah.
Can
you see in the dark, Picard?
Yeah, I like how when they fire out the beams at like random to try and find the ship. That's quite good.
Yeah, that's good.
It's not much better than a late Voyager or Deep Space Nine battle scene, is it? Though, really,
really isn't. No,
and it's no Wrath Khan in the smoke when they're like,
no.
I love that bit. That's great. It's not.
And also, I thought, right, if they're using these, they must have had this. This must have been a foreseen situation that they are fighting a ship that has a really good cloak.
Yes, I wanted that because there's lots of cloaking. There's other races that can cloak. Yeah.
So why is their means of beating, like finding that, so shit?
Yeah, because in a normal episode, this would be like a Geordie going and do it and working out some cool way of doing it, wouldn't it? Rather than just like shoot.
Well, they're shooting the phasers out. Like, say they do like 6 shots on a horizontal plane, right? That doesn't really cover much of
space.
The 360 sphere, does it?
No.
And you're using your phaser energy to do that.
Yeah.
When really you could just shoot out light.
Yeah.
Right? You could just shoot out like a low power beam.
Oh yeah, because it just needs to be
and it should go out at a plane. It should fill the plane.
Yeah.
Like, I think if they had a crack at this now, I think they'd probably have a better idea of how to do that. But
do you know who cameos in this as a random
Dina Meyer? Oh no, I know the Sex Pest director. I noticed him. I spotted him.
Yeah, he's at the tactical.
Brian Singer.
He's at the tactical console in Worf's place.
He's getting tactical.
Yeah.
So the battle I quite like.
It's all right.
He fucks up some ships. Where's the fleet? The fleet need to get there.
Yeah, where is the fleet?
Yeah.
Because don't they say in the beginning they have the list of ships that are going to come?
Yeah, they've got the fleet, and then doesn't the picture go?
They're in like some weird field, aren't they?
Yeah.
Because stellar cartography.
Yeah.
It's been really downgraded, hasn't it?
It's
like
worse
a big
than the last
now.
Enterprise.
Yeah, it's just a big monitor.
Where before it was like a 3 full-storied room.
That was the best new set, wasn't it? In whatever film that was, Generations. But they go into that, and Data's like, "Oh, we're in this weird cloud, aren't we? Where we can't contact Starfleet for like 8 minutes."
And it seems like they get a live feed for their map, which is weird.
Yeah.
So the whole idea of the Enterprise being like an exploratory vessel, if it doesn't have signal, it's fucked.
Yeah.
Why does Troy get to fly the ship?
Because the helmsman dies, isn't he?
Yeah. But she fucking crashed the last Enterprise.
They blow out the front of the bridge, don't they?
Oh,
the helmsman flies out the window.
They would all just be dead. I mean, that isn't even like, that is ridiculous.
I think that whole the force fields come up pretty quick.
Comes on quite fast, doesn't it?
Okay.
I mean, they probably wouldn't be able to go back to work.
Oh, did you know that this is the first Starship bridge to actually be built on a gimbal? So when they're all being tossed around, they're actually tossing the set around.
Waste of money, because there's never been a film where I've watched it and gone, I don't believe them flying around.
Yeah,
that's true. Yeah.
They were getting by just fine by saying,
true.
Go right. And the camera goes wobbly,
Yeah, no, you don't need it, do you?
What a waste of fucking money. So Troy ends up at the helm again. And, so basically, I guess the Enterprise is knackered.
Yep.
The bad guys are facing off with it.
Riker's fighting Ron Perlman.
Amazing.
Oh, yeah, God.
Amazing.
Yeah.
In this, endless,
It's like Austin Powers, the way they keep cutting back to it, and it's still going on, isn't it?
Yeah.
There's a bit when they fall onto like a bridge or something, and they go like, "Oh!" Like there's a really bad groan of when he hits the
two old men.
Yeah, 2 old men fighting.
Yeah.
One of them covered in plastic.
When Ron Perlman flies off it, Riker was supposed to say, "See you in hell, Riemann," and Frakes refused to say it.
Good.
And they filmed it anyway, but they cut it out because it wasn't a very Riker thing to say, which I think is fair enough.
Yeah, that's right, yeah.
But that whole drop, though, seems a lot bigger than the Enterprise.
They've just got this cavernous hole.
Yeah, that's like a Death Star again. They just,
It's like fucking, like, Cloud City in Empire Strikes Back. It's mad.
You know what I like about this fight as well? That Riker defeats him, before Picard even beams across. So there's got to be a good, 15-minute window.
Yeah.
And then right at the end, Riker comes back on the bridge. What was he doing in that gap? What was he up to?
Are all the turbo lifts down or something?
Oh, maybe he's been walking back. That might explain it.
walking.
It seems very convenient. It's like all finished. And he's like, "Oh, I'm back, guys. What's going on?"
Yeah.
Oh well, it's all.
But the thing is, if Geordie and Data managed to get to the front to jump off,
yeah. I think Riker was dossing.
Yeah. Having a cigarette on his way back to the bridge. I've earned this.
Yeah. So Picard Picard rams it first, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Rams it.
Bit of ramming. Yeah, I like that.
Which
weird.
I mean, considering how powerful that Romulan ship was, he's done a really bad job, hasn't he?
Yeah.
As captaining it, Shinzon has.
Oh yeah. Yeah, he's
really
mucked that
bad
up.
job.
He's mucked that completely up. Yeah.
Really funny if Picard said that on the com. Like, Shinzon, you mucked that up, mate. You really mucked that up.
Really mucked that up.
That's not a Picard manoeuvre.
Yeah.
So then he rams it. It's quite an interesting sequence where they are all rammed in.
It's something different, isn't it, I suppose?
Yeah.
We've not seen a ramming before.
No.
Yeah. And the ships seem quite robust in the fact that they don't just fall apart. They just wedge into each other, right?
Mm.
So both ships are crippled, but then he activates the weapon.
Yep.
Picard boards Shinzon's ship, tries and have a fight, and he impales him.
That's a rubbish fight as well.
Yeah.
That's a terrible fight.
It's such a terrible fight. It's barely a fight, isn't it?
No, it's just rubbish.
Yeah. And there's just like a stupid piece of metal in that set.
He does that Terminator sort of thing, doesn't he? Dragging himself towards him. What's the point of that? Classic. It's ridiculous.
Classic. So then Data enters and
he does the Princess Leia move of just jumping.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I do I forgot about that Princess Leia. Oh God! They really did mess it up, didn't they?
They did.
Yeah, they did. Yeah.
Oh, I forgot that.
It really reminded me of that. That's why I said it. It really reminded me of that.
I forgot that even existed.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry.
Film's terrible, isn't it?
That is terrible, and that's like the final fuck you. That is. It's right at the end of the film, isn't it? It's already been fucking terrible. It's how can we finish this off? I know Leia's gonna space fly across the.
I saw there's a great Robot Chicken where they show that and she slides in, she just knocks all these people over and she's like going through all the they're like, whoa, and they just get getting smacked into while she's flying through the ship. Yeah.
So Data runs through, they do the force field and he runs through and he gets to the... I kind of like that idea, I guess.
Do you want to know the original script for this film?
Yeah.
Originally, there were several warp core relays built into the bridge of the ship, and Data would have destroyed the ship by shooting one at the climax.
Oh.
This was removed after fans pointed out, because it leaked the scripted, after fans pointed out how ridiculous it would be to have part of the warp core routed through the bridge.
Amazing.
And Sternbach pointed out that if a firefight broke out on the bridge, as indeed happened with Picard, one misplaced shot by either party could destroy everything. So
Wow.
I like how the fans are coming to the rescue on the script.
Apparently there's loads of changes that were basically done because it leaked and the response was so negative that they changed lots of little things. Yeah,
God, how bad would it have been then?
Well, I know one thing at the end. I'll tell you at the end. The last line was changed.
Okay.
So Data then saves Picard and then he sacrifices himself.
Classic.
Shooting the second warp core.
It would only
in the bridge.
And but it's so annoying, isn't it? Because you're just like, oh, thank God, Data's gone. Then you're like, oh, but he isn't, is he?
Yeah.
I will say, I'm glad they had the self-control to not have a big speech as he died. I know there's all a bit afterwards and all like, oh, remember Data, that shit. Yeah. But at least he doesn't monologue to Picard before he warps him off, you know?
Yeah, that's true.
Remember the Borg. Not now.
Yeah.
So, the ship goes bang, and they all look at their data. And
this film, right, is terrible, yeah? Mm. And then this coda is probably the worst 5 minutes of Star Trek in any of these films, these Generation Extraction ones. It's so painfully... It's badly written, it's badly acted. Yeah. There's that weird thing of Riker going on, going, oh, do you remember that song?
And and also it's really silly because, like, Dina Meyer's, like, from Starship Troopers, like, oh, hey, we're friends now, the Romulans and Federation. And you're like, really? Would they be friends after this? Like, I don't think that would heal everything. Like, they'd just be like, oh, thanks for getting rid of that nutter. We're still...
The Romulans would just go like, nothing to do with us. Yeah. Try and cover it up and leave, wouldn't they?
Yeah,
there's nothing...
Yeah.
They'd probably take the opportunity to try and steal the Enterprise at that point or something, wouldn't they?
Yeah.
I just don't get it. I don't get any of it.
No.
So, Riker's off to do the Titan.
Yep.
We never see the Titan, which is a shame, because the Titan's quite a cool ship.
Only in the books.
And in Lower
Decks now.
Lower Decks. It's really funny, all the Titan stuff in Lower Decks. I thought I really liked all that.
Yeah. And then B4's so fucking dumb. And
I thought it was quite funny though how Picard's talking to him, and at the end of the conversation, he like shakes his head and he's like, "There's no fucking chance for this guy." He like walks off and he's like going, "Well, that's a waste of time." It's like really obvious that he's disappointed how thick B4 is.
But Data's annoying. I never used to hate him that much in the show, but
he's not as annoying in the show.
In the films, it's like, oh, he's a bit annoying. Then he gets emotions. You're just like, oh my god, this is awful.
Yeah.
And then you're just like, oh, they can't make this worse. And then they somehow find a way of making Data worse by making him like a dumb, like, kid's toy or what? Like,
it's bad acting as well, isn't it? You know, like the way he's like going, bobbling his head all the time like this. It's terrible acting.
If I was Data, what you'd do, right, is you'd jump over to the other ship with B4.
Yeah. Leave him there.
And then let him be like an assassin droid.
Yeah.
Had they only got one of those transporter blip things?
No, there must have been hundreds on the...
Yeah, so just like throw a grenade and then go off.
Yeah,
why would you just need to shoot it, do you?
It seems so useful. It seems like every member of Starfleet should have one of them just on them, just in case. Like...
Well, they should do, so when you get fucking sucked out into space, you can still get brought back inside. I've always thought they should have that. It should be built into the comm badge. If we now know they can make a transporter that big.
Yeah.
Hang on, isn't it? Is it not in the comm badge then? Where is the transporter thing?
It's this thing that he puts on him.
It was in Data's arm.
No, but in the series though, isn't it in the comm badge?
It's not a transporter. They just lock onto the comm badge.
Oh, sorry, right. So he's transporting. Oh, I get it now. Sorry, because the transporter's broken in Enterprise, isn't it?
Yes, once that little mini one was invented, you just build it into the badge. Like,
no, you're right.
So anyone who gets sucked out, just bring them back in.
Yeah.
Or if you go into battle, just keep a transporter lock on everyone. Yeah. And if they then appear outside of the ship, just peer them back in.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
So, it's really bad. And you get to see the Enterprise in the space dock.
I like
a space dock shot.
Yeah, I like that. I like that shot. Yeah. I thought that was nice.
I prefer the big space dock though, like they had in the old films, not them stupid ones that just go around the ship.
Yeah.
But anyway. So what do you reckon?
I'd just like to say, Tom Hardy, in an interview years later, Tom Hardy said he took the role very seriously as it intended to be his big break. The commercial failure of the film and the response from longtime fans apparently led to his relationship dissolving, him turning to alcohol and considering suicide. It was only when he pulled himself together and starred in Bronson in 2008 that he got over this film. Yep. So that's 6 years, and then he had to... You think how big he is now, but like...
The thing is, sci-fi trolls are quite bad, and I think if he hadn't been in that... He didn't know the world,
Yeah.
I think it could be quite destructive.
And I'm sorry, Tom Hardy, you were absolutely shit in this. He's terrible. Awful. He's one of the worst. Not even in Star Trek. I think he's one of the worst sci-fi villains of all time. Maybe.
I was going to say, do you think he's the worst villain in all the 10 films?
Yes.
I think he is, isn't he?
Yeah.
No.
The guy in Insurrection's pretty bad, but I think this guy's worse.
The Cybok.
Cybok, yeah. Cybok's bad.
Oh, I forgot about him.
The Wizard of Oz God guy in that film as well.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Do you want some box office schadenfreude for this film?
Yeah.
It opened to a lower than expected $18.5 million on its open weekend, behind Jennifer Lopez's Made in Manhattan. In its second week, it lost over 76% of its business, which at the time was a record revenue drop for any major studio film in box office history.
Wow.
It was surpassed by Gigli, the
Jennifer
Lopez.
That's Jennifer Lopez. That's ironic.
Yeah. But yeah, it's the lowest grossing of all the films.
Sweet revenge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh. But you can see why. Like, you're not. Once they've tricked you into going in to see this once, you're never going to watch it. Like, you're not going to have gone back.
You're going to tell all your friends to avoid.
Yeah, you're just going to say, "Oh, do you like Star Trek? Right, don't go and see that then." "Oh, you've never heard of Star Trek? Don't go and see that then." It doesn't appeal to anyone. Who's this aimed at?
The only good thing about it bombing is that there's a thing on Memory Alpha saying that Patrick Stewart and Brent Spiner had a plan for another film, a fifth and final one, that was again focused around Data. So at least this saved us from another Data film by bombing. So, yeah.
Oh, God, that'd have been awful. I've got here, there was supposed to be a follow-up film with the Enterprise crossing over characters with Deep Space Nine and Voyager.
Yeah.
And the Titan.
Well, they were trying to get rid of the crew on this one. They were trying to, literally recast the whole lot.
Also, one other thing I've forgotten, the original ending for this film is that they go onto the refitted Enterprise E, and Picard's looking round. I think they filmed this, and this is on the DVD. Picard's looking round the bridge.
Yeah.
He sits in the captain's chair, and a seatbelt automatically comes on.
Oh, yeah.
And he goes, "It's about time." And that was the end of the film. And thankfully they cut that. But
oh
my God.
Yeah.
But again, I can't remember ever seeing anyone fall out of the captain's chair.
It's so stupid.
Yeah.
Imagine if that had happened, and that had been the last thing we saw from this cast for like 20 years.
Wow. Yeah.
There's a scene, a deleted scene, where the new first officer comes on.
Oh, who was it?
That's some rando, but Riker plays a prank on him, and tells him that Picard likes to be addressed as Jean-Luc.
Oh. That cheeky trickster, eh?
Yeah.
The other thing I've got here, talking of pranks, it says that midway during shooting, the captain's chair from the bridge set disappeared, apparently stolen. While the film crew scrambled to find a way to work around this problem, the Star Trek Enterprise cast and crew, shooting in the sound stages next door, decided to have a little fun in at their franchise mate's expense. Scott Bakula visited Patrick Stewart's trailer to present him with a makeshift wooden replacement chair with the letters KAPTIN painted on it. Just gave him that. Oh, there you go, bye. I quite like that. Good old.
The thing
Scott
is,
Bakula.
they actually use the chair in Enterprise because they upgrade the chair in Enterprise
so
and use the same
prop
themselves.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know if it's got the seat belt situation on there. But, yeah. So, I mean, for me, I like the battle scene. Everything else, not much point. Really.
I think we're all agreed it's bad, but
how bad?
Do you think it's worse than Star Trek 5 is the question?
5 is the God.
I don't think it is.
5 is the God one, isn't it?
Yeah. 5's the other one where it has an indeterminate height of the turbo lift shaft.
Yeah.
No, because...
And the Uhura dance.
Oh, no, because this film isn't pretentious. It sucks and it's flat, but it's not pretentious, whereas that was kind of pretentious, wasn't it?
And also, he should have known better because, Shatner directed it, but he should know Star Trek, Shatner.
Yeah, no, that is worse. No, okay, where's that on the list then?
That's at 211. Do you think it's worse than Insurrection, which is our next lowest one?
Yes, I would.
Yes.
I think it's
Even though,
worse.
I don't know, Insurrection is real. I don't like Insurrection at all.
I think this is worse, though.
Where's Insurrection?
158 Insurrection and 211 Star Trek 5. Insurrection is poor. I don't think it's as bad as this because
No.
no aspect to it. Insurrection at least feels a bit like an episode of Next Generation. Yeah. This doesn't feel like Star Trek very much at all to me. It's lost. The characters are all way off script.
Yeah.
They're boring. Nothing happens. The villain's bad.
Yeah.
There's no... The peril's very indeterminate. You don't really know what the plot is.
No, it sucks.
You know, it's really poor.
Here's my next... Okay, well, I'll counter here.
Yeah.
Is it better than Galaxy Quest, which is at 183? Because I don't think it is better than Galaxy Quest.
No.
I think Galaxy Quest is a better Star Trek film.
Galaxy Quest is kind of funny in places.
Yeah. And it's a reasonably interesting idea.
The lead guy is quite good in it, I think, actually.
Yeah, it's a good idea as well.
I don't like Galaxy Quest, but I don't know. I think this is worse than Galaxy Quest.
It is worse, yeah. Is it worse than Theodore Rex?
I enjoyed Theodore Rex more.
Is it worse than Superman 4?
It's around.
It's not that bad, is it? I don't think it's that bad.
But we're in the same level as like a film that's just pooing.
It's not technically incompetent, is it, though?
No,
in ways that like Star Trek 5 and this sort of films were. But not much higher.
It's worse than Equilibrium, definitely, because that has got enjoyable moments.
Yeah, I don't think it's not as incompetent as Species and The Great Wall.
No,
okay. But I prefer Equilibrium.
And Abyss. The Abyss is kind of a super competent, like, high-tech film as well, isn't it? Idiocracy.
It's in this level, though. We're in the right area, I think, here. I would say this is where it should be.
I can't even remember what Idiocracy was.
It's the future where everyone's really, really dumb.
Yeah.
The Office Space bloke.
They're all B4s.
Yeah.
Sort of, yeah.
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 No, it's not as good as Howard the Duck.
No. I like Equilibrium. I think Equilibrium's good fun.
I quite like Equilibrium.
I think one below that then, above Great Wall and below Equilibrium. What do you think? Great Wall? I think Great Wall's...
I think Great Wall's probably better, actually.
Yeah, I think I'd rather watch Great Wall.
And Species.
What do you think around Superman 4? That's also like kind of a nadir of the franchise. One above it?
One above that, yeah.
So below Universal Soldier?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
So you know what I can do now? I can do the top 10 countdown. And we've done all the proper Star Trek films now. So here we go.
Oh, great.
Top of Pop's music.
Oh, yeah, Top of the Pop's music. Do it.
No, I'm going to play some Star Trek music, I think.
Oh, okay. No. Oh, okay.
Should I play both? One in one speaker, one in the other speaker.
Play them on top of each other.
Yeah.
Right, number 10 is Star Trek V Final Frontier. Number 9, Star Trek Nemesis. At number 8, Star Trek Insurrection. Number 7, Star Trek Generations. Number 6, Star Trek 3, The Search for Spock. Number 5, Star Trek The Motion Picture. Number 4, Star Trek 4, The Voyage Home. I think this is the most controversial thing probably, is at number 3 we've got Star Trek 6, The Undiscovered Country. I'm not sure if that would be a popular choice number 3, but I think it
I think.
You think it's a... Okay. Number 2, Star Trek First Contact. And at number 1, all the way up at number 10 in the list, is Star Trek 2, The Wrath of Khan.
I mean, that pretty much tallies with what I have in my mind. So
yeah, me too.
Yeah.
Well
makes
done.
sense.
Well done, us.
Well done, us.
Yeah. Cool. And The Wrath of Khan is still in our top 10 of all time.
Still top 10.
It's a
number
fucking
10.
And this film makes you realise how good Wrath of Khan is, because I really feel like they're just trying to repeat Wrath of Khan again.
It's a real pity for me that they never had a real proper Star Trek film. Because I know you two like First Contact, but I didn't like that as much on this viewing.
No.
I'd like a more traditional kind of...
Yeah.
I'd like The Undiscovered Country for this crew.
And
that kind of one send-off, it's a good send-off kind of
and
thing.
The ridiculous thing is, number one, what Chris said at the beginning of this, that they had all this money and they had all the sets already, it's all done, they could play with it. But also... the point of in each episode you focus on one character predominantly, don't you? But in a film with that runtime, you can actually give, say, 4 or 5 characters fleshed out stories, but it's all just Data and Picard. That's all it is.
Well, I mean, they wasted the B plot and B4 a new character.
Yeah.
Even in the old TV series, they managed to like spread around the actors more.
Yeah.
In one episode.
Yeah, especially if they do like a best of both worlds, like sort of 2-parter. You would get stories for each of the cast. Yeah.
I mean, I'd like to see like a feature version of the Yesterday's Enterprise. Where they have to change history. That's what you want. That was the one that Tarantino was supposed to be doing.
Oh, is it?
That was the one. That was the script he was interested in making.
Are they still in production on another Chris Pine one? Because they were, weren't they?
Yeah.
But, yeah.
I mean, surely at some point
it's
they're going to do a multiverse, aren't they?
You'd think, yeah.
Yeah.
They have to, given what's going on in everywhere else.
Yeah.
Because they need to reconnect them to universes, really.
They need to do it before Picard dies and have him be the Spock. The Spock in the Star Trek 2006 film. He needs to be that role in the kick-off of a new thing, doesn't he?
To reconnect it.
Yeah, and it needs to have nothing to do with the woman out of Discovery, because I just hate her so much. She just sucks. She sucks so bad. I hate that.
The good thing about Discovery is they've disappeared to the far future, and no one even admits that they existed.
Yeah, that was the good thing they did. Yeah, it was. I thought that was actually quite a good thing that they did, because it's top secret. No one needs to know about this. Yeah, so everyone was sworn secrecy. That's why you don't know. Yeah.
There was this secret, like uber woke ship which went to the far future.
Too woke for time.
All forget about that.
It's a research woke ship.
Are they still making it, Discovery?
Yeah.
Oh, they are, right, okay.
Yeah, I mean, new issues are always coming to light. I mean, new types of, victim can be focused on.
Before we finish, let's have a little quick TV moment. Number 1, are you still watching Star Trek New Worlds, Chris? Is that still...
I am, yeah.
Still good?
Oh no! It's descent. I mean, the graph is on a downwards trajectory right now.
Right. Okay.
And I don't know why. I fell asleep on the last one, which isn't a good sign.
And have either of you seen Obi-Wan?
No, I haven't yet.
Have you seen it, Chris?
Yes.
What do you think? Thumbs up, thumbs down?
Absolute steaming pile of garbage.
It's utter shite.
Is it?
Yeah, it's absolutely... I've only seen the first 2 and I gave up. I couldn't work out any more.
I watched the 4th one last night. Oh my God.
So it's just... I mean, what's wrong with it?
Everything.
Everything's wrong with it. The script is terrible.
The production values.
The production value is poor.
Wow.
Really poor.
Given what we've seen they can do with the Mandalorian.
Yeah.
Right?
Do you know, I think that it's weird how that tech, whatever it's called, that Unreal Engine thing.
Yeah, like virtual production.
That already looks dated, doesn't it, on Obi-Wan? It looks so tired.
Yeah, I mean, even on Strange New Worlds now, it's like, once you develop an eye for it, you can literally go, that's that. It's literally like, it's getting like when you could notice green screen.
Yeah.
Oh.
It's because you can see where they're really using it uncleverly. Like, they'll only build like a table in the middle of the set.
Definitely.
And the walls will be half a kilometre away.
Yeah.
And it's like, does every room in this fucking ship now have to be like the size of a hangar bay?
In Obi-Wan it does.
Because you want to use this screen shit all the time. Just build a set, for Christ's sake.
Well, it's even more obvious because the only set they did build is the rooftop at the end of one episode of Obi-Wan.
Yeah.
And that is so obviously a set compared to everything else. Because they run over the same bit of roof about 12 times. And it jars so badly with the rest of it.
And I have to say, the direction is really bad. They've got the same director in every episode. I don't know what she's done before. It is the worst.
Yeah.
And I don't know what power she's got over Disney than the fact that they haven't come in and sorted it out. I don't get it. It was obviously a massive, like, they're all wanking each other off. All the cast are like, oh, it's so good to have this director on every episode. So good. It's like they're literally tossing each other off and it's all rubbish. Like,
did you watch that clip, Alex, I sent that on the channel?
The girl running away?
Oh, no, I didn't see it, no.
There's like Leia, spoilers, Princess Leia's in it as a kid.
terrible actor.
She's awful in it, yeah. And the
thing is, she's a kid, right? Just don't get her to say all the lines.
Yeah, but she does. I mean, she carries every scene she's in, doesn't she? She's like the main actor.
Yeah.
And that she runs away several times, and it's some of the worst chase footage I've ever seen. Ever. Like,
it literally looks like worse than some fan thing you find on YouTube.
It's ridiculous. Like, literally at one point, someone runs into a branch.
Yeah,
he's like, oh no, the branch is in the way.
She's through the forest, and a branch just blocks this guy's way.
Yeah,
and I'm there going, it happens about 4 times.
It does
in the episode.
Wow.
Like literally, there's very simple like blocking errors in every film, in every episode, right? And I kind of want you to watch the other one, Sam, because there's a really crucially wrong blocking error in every episode. And
I'll watch them.
And I don't know how you can make that sort of error on that size film.
That's what I didn't understand about it. Like that forest scene. Every shot is terrible, isn't it? Even there's a bit when they go into clearing and they all just like wobble like this for a bit, and they linger on these shots for so long. It's like no one watched it back and was
it's really poor.
What is this?
There's a scene in 3 where they basically reenact the Mustafar like lightsaber battle,
right?
Okay.
And it's like we're already at 3, and you're giving me Obi-Wan Kenobi fighting Darth Vader. And it's a really half-assed fight, and there's a fire. There's like he knocks over like an oil drum, so there's oil puddle.
Yeah,
and he lights it on fire, and then he force pulls Obi-Wan Kenobi into the fire to sort of give him the burns that he had. Right. That's the idea of it. Right. And then. I don't know how he gets out of it, but basically it's just a puddle, right? And somehow Obi-Wan Kenobi ends up back on the other side of this fire, and there's a load of stormtroopers and Darth Vader on the other side of the fire, and they can't get to Obi-Wan Kenobi. And it's like walk around, and there's like a big wide, and you can see like. And literally, you'll see here like voiceovers like of the stormtroopers going, "I can't get to him, sir. I can't get to." And it's like you just walk around it. Like, why all of us? This guy's burnt to death, and he still manages to escape from you. It's like it's absolutely insane. And on the 4th one, there's a 4th one, and he's in like some glass like tunnel under the sea, and it's like when you're in like the SeaWorld. Sea Life Centre, right? You know them like things, right? And there's a crack, right? And the crack's getting bigger. Obi-Wan Kenobi's right next to the crack and is force holding the wall together, right? And the stormtroopers are coming towards them, and he lets the good guys escape behind him, and he somehow manages to release the water, and then it hits the bad guys, before it hits him, and he's right next to the crack. It's just really, really poor.
Oh God!
I wonder what went on.
Who wrote it?
I don't know. I don't think it's a writing thing. I think it's a directing thing, because they haven't logically thought through what it's going to look like. And it's it would be super easy fixes. All of this would be super easy fixes.
Do you think it's just rushed? I don't know it's very strange.
It did seem quick to come out after Book of Boba Fett. Which people didn't like that very much, did they?
I want to look up the director of it.
Can't remember a name, but I know the writing credits changed each episode, because I think there's one coming up people think might be good because the writer's someone good, but I don't know.
Yeah. Okay, well I won't be rushing to watch it then.
It's good for a laugh. Watch that clip I sent you. You get some of the lulls in that little clip.
Okay, she's done Mr. Robot, American, some Better Call Saul.
Oh, and that's it.
She's
done a few directing credits, but mainly TV. Yeah, I don't know. It's just I don't think she's done action by the looks of it. Like,
I was going to say, because Better Call Saul, they normally have some quite good direction on that. Quite good directors.
I think she's done like an episode.
Oh right. Who knows? I mean, it's just.
She's done a couple of episodes of The Mandalorian, but there are some dodgy ones in that.
I'm not sure it is just the direction. I know the direction is poor, but I think they also what the story they're telling is rubbish.
Oh yeah,
the choice of labelling it is terrible. It's not just the direction; it's bad throughout.
I'm putting it on her door.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah. Well, there we go. There's your Obi-Wan update. Yeah. Don't watch it.
Yeah, I can't. They've really mucked that one up. But the good thing about it is it's only. It is 6 episodes or something, is it? Something like that.
Oh, okay. That's not bad.
Before we finish, I've got one Star Wars question to you. Someone asked me the other day. Do you think Disney will remake the original 3?
Ooh.
No.
No. You don't?
No.
No.
Ever?
Why?
Ever.
Why would they?
I think the nuclear option will be they're going to remake maybe all 9, like to start again.
Shitter.
Why?
Because what else can you do? Like they're burning through good faith so fast of using all these iconic characters. It's all going wrong.
In lore, after where they've got to now with the films, like the universe is invaded by some extra dimensional beings.
That's old lore, isn't it?
No, it's lore now.
New lore. Right, okay. Have we talked about? Oh, it doesn't matter. It's Jar Jar Binks thing. We don't mention that on air, have we? But we'll do that at the time. We get to Star Wars. We should play in this episode.
They should have definitely used some Sith Binks.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, George R. Binks, his dad.
George R. Binks, yeah.
Yeah. Fucking incredible. Absolutely incredible. That's the Star Wars content I want.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I want to see some... They should go right back in time and do some of that Old Republic shit.
The Old Republic things, yeah. Well, they are, aren't they? They are making the Old Republic series, aren't they?
Yeah.
Anyway, let's bail out of this. This episode is long. We need to get to... we've got another episode
next
to do.
Week.
So next week.
Next week.
Next week, we're doing Robocop 2.
Robocop
Correct.
2. Yeah. Join us for that.
I'll buy that for $1.
Oh,
maybe.
Yeah.
Cool.
Right. Ciao for now.
Bye.
Bye.